if he doesn't get in here, I will cast in his place, just because we can't be having people, you know. Oh yeah, duh. Here. I forgot.
So am I going to be casting out of spectator, right?
If you got an invite.
Okay.
Kill yourself. Okay.
Why was the password?
Ha!
Thank God.
I'm not a moron. That was fucking awesome.
I think the stream is on and has sound.
Oh, sorry. My apologies for the inconvenience. I will do that right now. So where can I edit this? Just go figure settings, audio input, quality.
Guys, I do sincerely apologize for all of this. We do try to work on these things, make sure everything is professional and up to date. We did have some problems to do with daylight savings time that resulted in some of our games being basically overlapped, and we thought we were good to go and get things started here a little bit earlier than we actually had things planned. We had to go ahead and get a substitute from outside of our group, from outside of our game plan, to get things started. But we should be ready to start in just a minute. We do very much appreciate your patience and your continued patronage here at the League of Legends IRC 5's Gold Members Forum. We will see you in a second.
A little bit, but your TV is still too loud.
Folks, it's been a while since you could see
funny.
IRC 5s, and it's been a while since you
It's not
could
funny. You're too loud.
watch your team.
You're too loud.
Oh shit!
Shut
Really?
up.
Oh god. All right, sorry. Anyways, thank you very much for joining us in IRC 5. This is Game 1 of the North American Division. I have with me Mr. Dutcross. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty fine. I have been casting a couple games today. Hopefully we will get this game started pretty soon.
Yeah.
Since we're ready to
We
go.
are just about ready to go ahead and get things going. Gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and give technical the high sign, and we will get things started. Alright folks, and we're off. Our first game of the North American Division. The Platinum and Gold players, maybe even a Diamond, I don't remember exactly. We have Zixkunex as the captain of the blue team, and Feds as the captain of the red team. We have our first band coming out here from the blue team, and it's going to be an Elise band. You do love to see Elise played or banned. She's a very exciting, very mobile champion, great at shitting turret aggro, you know, at exactly the right kind of time, and a similar kind of band coming out from the red team as Hector.
Probably, I'm expected to see a Jarvan band coming out for either team. I mean, the only game I've been seeing him being played is the last game he played and didn't end, I think. So expect that to happen right now. This is standard stuff, but I think I have this intuition that Akali is going to be played in this game. I have this intuition in my mind, like Akali is going to be played. As an Akali player, I would like to see that. So we see a Vi band coming out and global team. Pretty standard as well. You don't want that Vi coming out to your lane with the Q and a solid battery, or just flash and solid battery. There's no way you can actually escape that. It will totally follow you even if you flash or just gonna chip away. So show that, man. That is not like anything we see, but it's a pretty decent band because, you know, it's pretty boring to play against him in his lane because all this sustain. If you can't hard engage him because of the silence and stuff. So first pick is going to be our Devolution Beer. Hell yeah, we're going to be beers on this match. So what do you expect to be picked in this match at Jeffrey?
Let's see, you know, you got Volibear's first pick there. He's kind of, you know, you see, especially, you know, we're watching at a different elo level than we often do. We're watching a lot of platinum level players, so the tanky initiate, you see a Moo band out because the Curse of the Sad Mummy is so strong. It's not just the initiate, it's also a great way to chase, you know, everything that combines off of his bandage toss. So not surprising that he was banned out, but the rest of our bands here, you've got Elise banned out, Hecarim, Vi, and so kind of you see Zinzao and Volibear as kind of the cornerstones of that sort of plan, that sort of gameplay style, people who can jump in and get really disruptive in ganks. Because you see them play a lot of early ganks at this kind of level, you know, a lot of level 2 and 3 ganks, and both of those jungle champions are going to be really excellent at doing that. So it doesn't surprise me too much here. We actually did see a Thresh pick from the red team. Thresh, an excellent champion. To really set up kind of in-lane ganks and give your AD carry a lot of extra opportunities. I'm trying to handle some extra commentary from outside, making sure I have volume levels up and working properly, so I will adjust all of that.
So hopefully we will see big Thresh plays with the long term, because it's going to be real beautiful to play to watch those kind of plays. That remember me of F4 from Gambit Gaming, who plays that champion a lot, who everyone calls the queen of the king of Thresh. Going to be the Launcher coming out with a Chainsaw flying into you with a audacious charge. It's going to be hard time for MF in the bottom lane if that gets off.
Yeah, definitely. Leona and Misfortune, a good combination. Leona with the amount of disrupt and ability to jump back and forth, stick champions that she have, is going to help at least partially make up for Misfortune's relatively short range and give her a lot of opportunities to drop down extra damage and focus onto people if she gets the opportunity to within her lane. But Tristana, no, now we're seeing potentially Vayne being shown, and interestingly enough, I'm seeing 3 choices. I'm seeing Thresh somehow not locked in on the red team over here. I don't think it's quite right, but we do look like we have Malphite now being chosen out as the 4th pick by the red team, and Vayne being that team's AD carry. So it's going to be Vayne and Thresh in the bottom lane, both teams with aggressive support, so looking to make opportunities and really tie up the AD carries.
Yeah, we expect to be to watch some interesting fights on the bottom lane, which is always good to watch. So we see the Garen play. Oh my! I don't want.
Nice.
Well, in my opinion,
top. That is.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be able to win early game, then he should be able to lose mid to the late game. But in my opinion, I hate Garen. Every time I play top lane.
I'm not sure I see that so much as an opinion as so much as a condemnation, but frankly, I'm looking forward to seeing Beefcake versus Rock Candy. So there you go, Irish Drifter. That one was for you, baby. All right. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off too much, but we are looking at our mid picks. Blue team did show Orianna for a short time before faking out over to Lux, and red team says, I can work with that, and we'll take Orianna probably for themselves, being shown by Dr. Sigma Fruit, but not locked in yet as we get inside the last 30 seconds here.
And it's going to be a Diana pick, maybe. It should be better because, the Diana. Come on, go Diana, go Diana, go Diana. Well, maybe they just want to go for the wombo combo with the Malphite ult, or maybe just a Chainsaw. Just want to go.
Absolutely. The combination really of all of their ults. You see, and then the order in which they could potentially come out. Malphite, the Unstoppable Force, could set up for a command Shockwave, which could be comboed in by Thresh having grabbed someone, put in the box around them, then, But yeah, there's absolutely a lot of synergy there. You see both of your AD carries taking cleanse. Nobody wanted to take unnecessary risks here, especially with these very aggressive supports and junglers. There is a lot of disruption that could be placed down into fights and into the bottom lane early. I don't suspect they will be able to farm discreetly for any period of time, but we will definitely be interested to see how that comes out. Any particular lanes you're interested in watching, Datcross?
I'm interested in watching into the bottom lane because we got 2 aggressive supports. It's really fun to watch because you never know what's going to happen, who is going to get engaged on who. If you take a miss, if you make a wrong choice, you can actually die, and then the opponent can snowball out of control, and you can lose the game. So it's going to impact a lot, and we have to remember that he is a Vayne So, well, she is a Vayne, so if she gets ahead, it's going to be a pain for Bolivar and Garen to kill her because we got here a Thresh who is a pretty good pillar against melee champions who don't have uh, a good uh, a good get closer. So because the slow from the box that is his ultimate, it's going to be a huge deal coming out to these fights. I expect the top lane to go somewhere even, unless Malphite just crush in the first 6 levels. And jungle is going to be just who does more ganks and who can actually be who can have more presence on the lanes because both have great ganks. And in the middle it's going to be just farming, and if they get if Lux lines biting, then it's going to be a whole combo coming out there. And same is going to be for Oriana if she gets Lux low enough. So mid lane is going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a little bit more about farming. Pawn is going to be more about trading, and bot lane is going to be the interesting lane that we can see too.
I don't know. I think any of these teams has the option to go aggressive at some point. You know, if they really want to. Oriana, you know, it's going to be able to do a lot of damage to Lux unless maybe she takes a. Really, they could each go for, depending on how they gauge each other's playstyle out in the early game. They could go for that Chalice of Harmony, and try to really blunt each other's damage, and then you'd probably see it go back to a more passive game, more about farming. But if they do go aggressive relatively early, and say one of the junglers tries to go down bottom, the other one gets there first and gets a kill, then maybe the jungler from the team that didn't secure a kill in the bottom lane will try to rush toward the mid lane and make something happen. It definitely, that possibility exists. I think the only lane that you probably won't see a lot of action in early, unless people get way out of position, is the top lane. But really, that's kind of the beauty of this level of game. You know your junglers are going to be paying a lot of attention to each of the lanes at any given time, getting notes from those lanes on where everybody is, and reacting to them in good time to make the possibility, for a lot of action, and so a lot of good play and counterplay going to be coming out from these teams. We are just about loading up into the game. As soon as my client stops flashing bright white into my eyes, we should see some skins and players. And there we go.
We hopefully will have a game that's not one-sided and my client's not working for some reason. Damn it.
You might need to give it just a minute, but we are. I'll comment on our skin battle as we wait for things to load up here. We have Steel Legion Garen, Iron Solari Leona, Steel Legion Lux, and Secret Agent Misfortune on the blue team. A very strong showing. The only thing that might be better would be a Thunderlord Volibear to close things out. But on the other team, we have Marvel Malphite, Heartseeker Vayne, and Stone Chaos Oriana not looking to go down too quietly, but the edge to the blue team on the skin battle. Yes, a good point coming out from the chat in that the jungles are lazy. Neither one of them was able to buy a skin. I'm going to go ahead and rearrange my lanes real quick. And we have a pause coming out immediately. I know Zixakun was having some problems getting and staying connected. I don't know if it is him or someone else who is having our issues here. But we will get that taken care of in just a second. It is fed.
A summoner has disconnected.
Well, let's thank God because I'm re-logging to my client because he crashed for some reason.
Okay,
playing in
Cricket and just everybody. It's cool, guys. You didn't really want to watch a high-level game, that could be interesting, exciting, contain things you've never seen before, right? Nah, me neither.
Right.
I'm just going to stare at these little icons at the bottom of my screen and shuffle them around like they mean something. Alright, let's see if I can get an eye on any
a summoner has
players here, see how everybody started. Wow, Vayne showing a surprisingly high amount of starting attack damage over 70 there. So Vayne probably going to be looking to be aggressive early. And Thresh, on the other hand, as with Leona, is deep into the utility tree, having both the Explorer's Ward and the Total Biscuit of Rejuvenation. You just see both of those supports go for a Rejuvenation bead. And Vayne starting out with a red pot. This is going to get really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I remember this anytime I play top lane or any lane I can actually be aggressive on, and or I can get the rest I get aggressive on. I get a 4-pot because most of the time some people tend to forget.
Thresh pulls H-May on Leona into the wall, but just going to be able to do that much and see that they are there as Oriana goes sweeping 4 players. Blue team now jumping in and getting themselves right into a position to take a red team's blue buff. Red team going to try to regroup and see how they can handle being boxed out. Xin Zhao goes around. He's going to run into everybody on the blue team. Bye, Feds. See you later. First blood going down to MF.
Well, that is a bad person to give it a first blood to.
Yeah, and worst of all is that the jungler was the one who lost his life, so that's gonna delay his jungle. It's gonna leave the rest of his team standing around for a bit. It's gonna hurt them all over.
Minions have spawned.
It's going to. So my game's loading. Hopefully we'll load pretty soon. TM. So
I hope your client
you
doesn't
can
load on Riot time. That would be terrible.
Or seconds, I don't know yet, until my game's load.
I'm going to throw this on to directed camera mode for just a second while I fix a few issues. If you wouldn't mind solo casting for just a second, I'll be right back with you.
Well, I just say it that, well, whatever. I know I'm just watching my loading screen because I totally forgot that my client crashed it.
Oh right, that was totally a thing that happened. Sorry. Here, I'll fix this. It's cool, folks. You didn't miss anything. Now we are back into the action. We're taking a quick look at the bot lane here as Thresh putting down an awful lot of damage. That Death Sent really, really hurting here in the early game, making him as powerful as supports get with that damage, and the fact that he has range to complement Vayne's ability to do so herself. Leona is now rushing in, looking to get onto somebody. The Eclipse and the Shield of Daybreak, the Zenith Blade rather, onto Thresh gets him taken very low. But Vayne able to chase back out against MF and push her out of the lane. Xin Zhao setting up for a gank on the top lane here, as Garen has been pushing against Malphite. Neither of them too low, but Xin Zhao being ready and alert to be a man.
Well, I am on the game.
Very cool. The game is afoot. Xin Zhao dashes onto Garen, but is not able to get that knock-up up before getting before Garen escapes into turret range. And now Volibear is here, gonna see if he can turn it back around on him. Goes full bore right away. I mean full bear. Sorry. Xin Zhao taking up to below about 200 health, but blue team sneaks into turret range as well. So going to have to back off there. Jump over to the mid lane. See that Oriana has pushed the lane all the way to the tower. Lux is being forced to score just outside of turret range and just pushing away where she can. Both of them having a healthy amount of mana, but looks like Oriana has taken a boots pot start instead of a full rejuvenation pot instead. How you doing there, Dakros? Everything almost ready?
Yeah, it should be working, but it's live now. So we see just standard things supposed to be. Garen's just pushing top lane. Not a lot of action going there. Just me.
No. We take a quick look. I mean, we've been focusing on the bottom lane, or I have been for the last moment or two. Seeing that the creep score is still staying very, very close. 25-2 for blue team versus 27-0 for the red team. completely even as Leona gets condemned into the wall. Leona is trying to do anything she can. Misfortune tries to come into range but gets exhausted as soon as she gets there. People on each team getting taken very low. Vayne is going to dive onto Leona, going to tumble, get an extra attack for the kill. Technical trying to back off as soon as Thresh comes back in, gets one auto attack, but Vayne with the tumble dry is going to clean up and take care of Misfortune. Thresh barely surviving a 2-for-0 coming out from the red team.
The power pot doing work right there.
Yeah, absolutely. The red pot, being able to be popped at just the right moment, giving her that extra health, really throwing Leona and Misfortune into disarray and making it so that they could pull out that very narrow victory.
So in top lane, we see Garen losing on CS, which is pretty, I don't know why, because he has been pushing quite hard, and he's
go ahead and turn this thing around again. Yep, after letting Garen blow all his cooldowns, now Xin Zhao comes in, but the Q does come up again just in time, and Garen will be able to escape once more.
Nothing too interesting happened. Nothing interesting happened around the map right now. Just standard stuff, just farming, being safe right now.
That's not to say there isn't plenty to talk about. We do have the gold lead, which was about 350 in favor of Vayne, now down to about 200, as Vayne had gone ahead and backed. So Vayne has picked up a couple of items. He's going to be keeping pace with Misfortune, who did back a little bit earlier. They each have the Vamp Scepter, the Doran's Blade, and their Boots one. The support build has diverged a little bit, a Ruby Crystal and Rejuvenation Beads from Ruger on Thresh, maybe looking to go into Haunted Guy, something, could be, there's so many items he could build it into at this point, and anything with cooldown reduction would probably be really great for him. And so far, all the lanes very close to even here at about 7 minutes into the game, still looking for that thing that breaks the game wide open, although Vayne being 2-0 at this point is a really good sign for her team. She's going to go ahead and try to increase that creep score lead that she has now over the next couple of minutes, really doing a good job even now at farming under her tower. So that is a good sign for her, and we'll see if blue team, if Volibear tries to find his way through to mid or bottom lane before too long. Volibear is pinging out that blue buff. It is ready for Lux to come and zap away. So we'll see when that happens. Xin Zhao doing the same for Orianna. So these buffs coming up and down at very close moments throughout the game. We'll see if junglers do react to that sort of thing. Bottom lane, Thresh and Vayne reacting to the wards they have placed in the forward brush against the blue team, putting down a lot of hurt onto Misfortune, and that Thresh chain just barely missing here.
So we see Malphite picking up Seeker's Homeguard, so I think he's going to go for an AP Malphite build, because I don't know why, instead of just going tank or something, but I think that's just fine for him. Since he's already winning his lane.
Yeah, I would say in a situation where he has several AD champions, Volibear, Misfortune, and Garen as his main lane enemies, he can go for those kind of off-tanky items. The Seeker's Arm Guard, he won't necessarily want the Zhonya's, so he may not build it into the late game. He may not, prioritize that over other items, but he definitely has and will enjoy the extra armor that gives him, in addition to the little bit of AP that will do well for him to do more damage. Misfortune, they brought Volibear into the lane, but Volibear gets boxed up. Misfortune's ult coming out, bullet time going across both members of the red team here. Will go down. Thresh picks up the kill on Misfortune. Misfortune picks up the kill on Vayne, and Garen gets, impolite things done to his buttocks in the top lane at pretty much the same time. So unfortunate, we were thinking of looking at Vayne and Misfortune taking each other out, but Thresh is the one who picks up that kill. So that's going to be a slight tip back in the favor of blue team in the bottom lane here, despite the fact that Vayne still picks up some gold from the assist. It's a little bit of an equalizer, and the unfortunate factor there is that Volibear also came in and wasn't able to do much, did barely escape with his life, but the red team handled that very well in a 2-on-3 situation.
Yeah, and while everything was happening, there was a duel between Lux and Orianna, where Orianna manages to kill Lux really quickly. So all the lanes right now are winning for football team, so everything seems just working the way they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, red team was even able to sneak Oriana down into the bottom lane, and you know she proxied her way through creep waver to put down about 40% of the damage on that bottom outer turret. So you're definitely seeing a lot of objective control go in favor of the red team. Xin Zhao's come out to the middle lane to try to defend against Lux trying to counter push, but Lux is not going to be able to do as much damage as Oriana 2 towers or any other objective early. Doesn't have quite the same kind of strength on her passive as Oriana does, and you know, Oriana got where she was going a lot faster. And not to mention that the lane was already basically cleared for her. Volibear watching as Garen and Malphite duel it out. Malphite is going to get thrown away behind things. Malphite is getting taken very low. He's going to go ahead and be forced to flash out. And blue team with a level 8 and a level 6 against the level 8 Malphite there. Still very worried about potentially being unstoppable forced under the turret and not willing to turret dive just yet. No, they are going to go ahead and try to do it now. Garen pulls Malphite away from the turret. The unstoppable force is going to take down Garen. He tries to flash out of turret range, but is taken down. At the same moment, we see things going down low. Misfortune uses the bullet time. I'm sorry, things going down bottom. Misfortune uses the bullet time, takes it across Vayne, and takes her down, bringing things to 3-2 in favor of Misfortune versus 2-2 for Vayne. So a quick couple of turnarounds. So 2 good fights simultaneously for the blue team. And they are looking to bring themselves back in this thing. It is now just an 800 gold lead here, 11.5 minutes into the game. We'll take a quick look at the objectives that people try to focus on, where they go to push things, and then we will watch as they back and see what items they pick up. Bottom lane taking the opportunity to do that now for the blue team. Garen having just bought himself a Giant's belt. Leona going to go ahead and pick up that Sight Ward. You know, Sight Ward isn't something you see at all levels of play anymore. It used to be in the beginning of Season 3. I don't know if you were playing heavily then, but you noticed that supports always took and were basically always expected to take the Sight Stone. You do see both supports in this game having it, you know, and that's a pretty significant amount of their 2,000 to 2,500 gold here. But just the invaluable measure of wards in these kinds of games where supports know where to come into the, you know, they know when it's time to lane gank versus when it's time to come in through a tri-brush, and they have a lot of information about who's warding and where. So having more wards available to your team to try to counter the vision that you know the other team has is just really important in these kinds of games.
Yeah, that's true. So sometimes you want the extra ward and the extra side ward because you don't want sometimes you don't want some certain words to be replaced, because you gotta remember that every time you go back, the side stone, you get extra words from it. Then when you put any word down, it will get replaced by other
So we got a lot of chase and counter chase here. Nox goes down on the Volibear, but he is immediately melted away. Leona actually taking the kill onto Thresh. And now Vayne barely escapes. A final spark is burning, but will get away as Leona and Misfortune, and maybe now Lux as well, try to chase onto and take care of Oriana and Xin Zhao simultaneously. Xin Zhao going to get thrown back across the wall, going to flash over the wall at the very last moment. Leona does chase onto him. Lux with the illumination passive, the debuff, not going to be able to do quite enough damage. He leaves with about 15 health and a pot running, so they are not going to be able to chase him under the turret there. The Lux the slow field does not hit quite close enough, and for all that aggression, for the chase back and forth, and all the action under the turret there, we are still waiting actually for something to happen. 1 attack, 2 auto attacks, 3 auto attacks, and the bite ready to go down onto Vayne. She's getting taken very low. The illumination and the, oh goodness, what's the thing called? I got it right earlier. Zenith Blade. There we go. This Zenith Blade is going to be what locks down Vayne and lets her be finished off. A lot of action there. 2 kills down onto. We're not even done yet. Leona did go down to Oriana as she came back around, tried to back in the bush. They are still looking to take down this bottom outer turret here. Thresh jumps onto Misfortune. Misfortune trying to set him up for Oriana, but Oriana is going hard for Volibear. Now going to make the turnaround and go back for Misfortune. See if Misfortune can put up a make it rain in time to give herself a little bit of extra move speed. Oriana does flash over via the Lantern over to Thresh, but they are both taking a lot of damage from that Lux poke and will have to back off. So that was a goodness, a 3-for-1 or a 3-for-2 in favor of blue team. I believe it was a 3-for-1. They have basically taken the game to even here at 15 minutes in. No turrets down, 7-7 in favor of kills, and 18.7 to 18.9 in gold. That's there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, but people basically handling themselves well enough to, you know, kind of pull aggro. Volibear was doing a good job of that, and really just being able to chase and counter chase is what we're seeing here.
Yeah, everything is going to come down to the late game. If they cannot stall out until Vayne gets to that part of the game when she can kill everyone without getting killed.
That's the hope, to be sure. But,
they,
you know, on the other hand, you have Lux and Leona and Volibear, and you know, if Red Team doesn't peel well for Vayne, then all the hyper carry status in the world may not mean that much if she's just CC'd until she's dead. Thresh going to go ahead and pink ward as Vayne chases on to Leona, waiting for Leona to try to do something. She's going to skirt the inside of the Dragon Pit and going to be able to make just enough space between herself and Vayne. Vayne and Thresh going to try to go ahead and... no, it's just going to be Vayne here pushing the bottom lane as Garen was already able to take out the top tower. So that is a first turret of the game going down right around 16 minutes in favor of the blue team, giving them a slight gold lead. Lux does see Orianna there as several members of the blue team file down, looking to counter push here. So Vayne was dissuaded. Leona walking through the ward as she tries to come into the bottom lane there. They're going to know there are several members of the blue team there. A counter pink ward is placed down, and so blue team now the team with exclusive sight on the dragon. Malphite over to the mid lane looking for something to do, waiting for his time to file in with that unstoppable force. For now, we have the blue team at the inside of this dragon pit. Another counter, the solar flare and the zenith blade coming down, putting a lot of CC onto Xin Zhao. He's not taking that much damage though. The impure shots go down. Volibear tries to slide him through, but he was not standing on top of that lantern. Xin Zhao was, and he is able to get away clean. Lux putting down a little bit of poke damage onto Malphite. Malphite kind of come in here. It's sure persuade his team to come in when the time is right. They are on the outside looking in for this dragon attempt. Orianna locked into place as the unstoppable force comes down the box, trying to box people out. Blue team making a straight retreat. Xin Zhao jumps onto people, puts down the challenge, tries to take down people. Volibear takes the first kill onto Xin Zhao. Malphite onto Lux, and Malphite also getting misfortune, the double kill. And Orianna also picked up a kill for herself in that. Red team really did a pretty good job of handling themselves, splitting up people and putting down damage onto people pretty quickly. The box made it so that blue team could not get into the back lines there. The Malphite unstoppable force, of course, as the initiate, and Orianna chased Leona all the way back down to the mid-inner turret as red team finished up the dragon here.
That was a really good fight for them. They got the unstoppable force into 3 people with their advantage shop. With their advantage shop way. Yeah, I'm fine. She got they got everything they wanted to perfectly. They got the box into like what, 3-4 people. They couldn't get it Vayne. Even if they wanted to, they were too low to kill her. So that was just
the box didn't really hit everybody on that team. The box was used as soon as Malphite's unstoppable force went down because Thresh was standing right about above the dragon pit, just kind of parallel or perpendicular to yourself. Yeah, and so what he did was he completely closed off the ramp.
So, in my opinion, that was a good fight for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They got to hit everything they wanted to. So now Vayne's going to be dead. She's going to get sandwiches. She's not dead somehow.
Volibear jumping in, trying to put a lot of damage down on the Lux. The solar flare going to give it the time, but even the make it rain or the bullet time, though the zenith blade and the explosion of the eclipse is actually what's going to be taking it. So Leona picking up another kill and assists go down onto almost everybody else on the team except for the far away Lux now. Leona letting herself be chased by Xin Zhao as Thresh looks to come in. Blue team all at about half health, but still not ready to give up the fight just yet. They did manage to push through and take the bottom outer turret, looking at the bottom inner turret while Malphite counter pushes, taking the top outer turret. Yeah, blue team, you know, they're still not out of this thing, although that thresh pull, Misfortune going to take him very low very quickly. Garen going to try to jump into the middle of things, is able to Q and spin onto Orianna, taking a lot of damage. The box again being used to dissuade people from trying to dive in as the command shockwave goes down, taking Leona extremely low. Good guy Mike on Garen trying to 1v4 this thing, spinning back out, but is going to be the one who gets taken down. It had to be somebody. Orianna going unstoppable with that kill onto Garen as Lux now trying to counter push against that that fight that happened, taking about half damage on the mid inner and wave clearing to try to do any let the minions do anything they can to that turret.
Yeah, that was a fight back and forth, but I think they overstayed a bit on technical getting caught right there. It was what cost them the fight. They just needed to disengage, even though that if they got them really low, maybe if Lux tried to get there with his ultimate, he will have able to kill anyone. Maybe he didn't, so you will never know.
Yeah, I mean that possibility existed, and you know, blue team stuck around roughly as long as they did to try to make sure that mid tower went down. Leona is actually going hard. The Zenith Blade onto Orianna and the Shield of Daybreak, giving Volibear trying to kind of come in, but the thresh pull lands onto him as the command shockwave comes out, and boom, bam, 2 people down, just like that. One onto Orianna, the other onto Malphite. Top laners and supports really getting a lot to do in this game. Leona at 3-3 and 3, Thresh at 1-1 and 8, Malphite at 4-1 and 2. You're seeing a lot of kills come down onto people you don't normally see, whereas 6 kills split between the 80 carries. You know, but again, blue team had what they thought was their engage strategy coming in. The Solar Flare is not enough to dissuade people. Vayne is able to take down, after cleansing out of that Solar Flare, is able to take down Misfortune pretty handily. And the Thresh pull landing onto things again with the scrape, pulling Garen back into the fight for long enough that he is exhausted out, and that mid base turret will almost go down. That's about right. Red team gonna have to back up as everybody except for Misfortune on blue team back up. But yeah, red team just doing a great job of counter engaging. They are letting blue try to dictate the pace and then proving at every turn that, you know, we know what we're doing. We know how to handle whatever you can throw at us. You have to get to us to engage, and we can make sure that that won't happen.
Yeah, that's true. So what we're seeing just right here, like you said, they are going. Volibear's trying to get in, but they disengage and they re-engage with the Malphite ultimate in top of the Orianna ultimate. This is just more about Thresh getting a pull into someone important. This is a really nice Thresh play. I'm really excited that this guy plays him properly. I have seen a lot of Thresh players, but not that great as this guy, who has been like he has engaged 4 fights.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows when and where to use his lead, you know, and his pull, and he is doing so with just great proficiency, really making a lot of engages, you know, out of nothing otherwise. You know, and beyond that, you know, I'm looking at our gold leads here, and I'm going for another pun here, so forgive me, Aaron Drifter. Command performances coming out from Malphite and Orianna both. You know, they are a lot of the reason for their team's 5,000 gold lead here, 23 minutes into the game. You take a look at the number of kills that Malphite is getting, and it's due to him already having a frozen heart for great damage on his E, and then also that fully charged his arm guard, a command shockwave, and the unstoppable force being pulled in one right after another. Yeah, absolutely. Can't disagree with you there. Vayne is going to go ahead and shred down Volibear with her Bloodthirster as Xin Zhao jumps onto Leona. Garen and Misfortune in full retreat. Garen will probably not make it out. He does flash over one side of the ward to the other, but that ball and the command shockwave making him so damn fast. He's actually going to chase down onto Misfortune. Even inside turret range, going to be dissuaded just now. But red team cleans up at a 4 for naught and a dragon to their credit. Now a 7,300 gold lead.
They need to stop getting ult by Malphite. They are just grouping out, and they are, well, I have to give credit to Malphite just for fighting. those opportunities, because as someone who plays Malphite every time he's not banned, it's not that easy to find those opportunities, because I'm more in this level of play when people actually know what they are doing. It's he has been playing a pretty nice game overall so far, and just the reaction time also for Orianna, because sometimes you will see the Orianna play.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
will
Where that
okay.
ultimate is procced too late, and people have been able to, move out of stun, or it just comes up at a point where it doesn't hit people. They are discussing well, and they are executing excellently. And I don't just mean execute in the sense that everyone's dying when they do their thing. But yeah, I mean, Malphite, they even had a ward in that bush when Malphite went to use the Unstoppable Force. They just probably didn't expect it to be up so soon, him having already taken the Frozen Heart, and now moving up with he took a Giant's Belt previously, and now he has finished that into a Rylai's Crystal Scepter to make sure that absolutely no one gets away from him when they chase.
Care.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent way to just kind of push the advantage that they have here.
Yeah, I didn't expect that coming out, but I think that is a good thing if you want to keep everyone out of the vein, since the utility that it gives you is pretty nice to have. So we see them pushing mid lane. I think they got enough to dive right now. There's not too much they can do, but they just disengaging. They just don't want to risk it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're using their site that each team has. Red team with their extra gold has been taking a lot of pink wards and going to be able to continue to put those down as they move around the blue team's jungle. Just looking to really lock down every objective on the map. There they are taking sight onto the Baron pit, making sure that blue team can't watch if and when they decide to do that. And you look at everybody's build. Malphite is actually surprisingly more damage heavy, in the top lane, whereas Xin Zhao go in pretty much straight tank. The Ninja's happy, the Chain Vest, the Wriggles Lantern, and the Lock of the Iron Solari, giving him a little bit of extra down. But he's the front line as much as Malphite is, really gives him the opportunity to crescent strike in and dash and jump onto somebody and really stick to them as soon as he is able to find, as soon as the opportunity exists, whether it's Malphite with the Unstoppable Force or a Shockwave from Orianna. As soon as Xin Zhao has his point of entry, he will jump to someone and stick to them like glue. Red team going to go ahead and set up for the Baron here. Volibear is going to jump into things, walking around in between everybody. Xin Zhao now down onto him. He is able to flash the Thresh pull, and so he will be able to get away. The Lux Light Binding lands down onto Thresh. The pink ward coming down from the red team. Make sure they aren't seen. Malphite's actually going to jump right into the thing and pull it, give himself away. Garen now jumping over to Thresh. Thresh was able to pull him into the wall. Garen being exhausted, taking for a lot of damage. The Unstoppable Force lands onto other members of the team. Lux being taken very low. Misfortune to make it. Rain lands across everybody, or bullet time, but it's not quite enough. She's able to do about half damage to people, whereas Thresh chases Leona down. Malphite is able to take down Lux, and Vayne also going crazy. Now Xin Zhao going to go ahead and 2v1. Even inside of turret range, he is going to go down, giving a kill up to Volibear, but Misfortune and Volibear are going to go down in response as Malphite takes the turret and red team takes down this mid-base turret quite quickly.
Blue team's inhibitor has been
destroyed. And there's just the result of being down. They were like 7k behind, and they are going to try to take out of their base. And there he goes. The Nexus turret, that is going to be huge, because there's going to be the super minions going down. So if they leave their base for a bit, there's not going to be 2 turrets, but just one.
Try to go ahead and Baron, and red team was backing at this moment. They're actually going to run across Malphite as they come in here. We'll see if the Frozen Heart and the Secret Armbar that he has is enough to help dissuade people. Leona going to go ahead and Zenith Blade over onto them. The Shield of Daybreak and the Eclipse pop at the same time. Garen chasing as hard as he can, looking for anything to be up and ready for him. He doesn't quite have the ultimate, the Judgment yet. Volibear looking to get in, get an assist for himself, but Garen is going to flash ahead and finish Malphite off, as Misfortune is going to go ahead and get started on Baron. Vayne going to jump over and take a look and notice that blue team is doing the Dragon, or is doing Baron here.
Did you see any other steal? Any other steal coming out?
Red team is going to get here just in time. The Baron has not quite gone down yet. He's getting taken very low into about 20% health, but this is just what Red team wants. The Command Shockwave going to go down to people. Blue team actually does take the Baron. The bullet time almost enough. Dodges out of the Lux ult, is not hit by it. Thresh pulling people. Thresh trying to keep Misfortune and Lux from being able to do too much as Garen takes out Orianna. Garen now taking a double kill, maybe a triple kill onto Thresh. But Lux and Misfortune going to be able to chase down and take out Xin Zhao in the meantime. And Blue team with that Baron buff, obviously the lead was not insurmountable. Blue team cleaned up that fight 4-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, there was a really bad fight for them because they were 4v. They were 4v5. They didn't have the massive AoE coming out from the Malphite ultimate.
Yeah, the lack of the unstoppable force, the lack of the attack slow on his E, and the further attack slow from the Frozen Heart, really gave Misfortune and Garen and Volibear the ability to jump in and put down. Their DPS was much higher than it had been in previous team fights. Sorry, I meant to take a look at Malphite there. Yeah, so I mean that and the fact that Blue team was able to successfully Baron are a lot of why that that fight went the way it did. So now the gold lead back inside of about 6,000 gold. They are still 3 turrets and 10 kills down, but what would you think they want to do with this Baron now? What do you expect them to do looking at the way the map control is right now?
Well, they should just stall this game out. They would probably be scared the purple team right now because they got Baron buff, so they should be okay for the next maybe 3 minutes. I think it is.
I don't know about being scared necessarily. I think they're just going to go into kind of a more passive game style. They're looking to, we see Orianna setting up for now, getting Vayne ready to make sure that any buffs that are on blue team side of the map can be taken, to use any wards that they have to try to give themselves sight and make sure that blue team can't sneak up on them. They're definitely a little bit discouraged, but they're still going to put the challenge up to the weaker blue team to stop them. Vayne, even without a Blade of the Ruin King, that percentage damage so very strong, especially when you have the kind of attack speed that she does. The Phantom Dancer, she has a lot of champions who can give her more time to set up for things, be it Malphite, be it Thresh. Thresh over on the other side of the bottom turret here, ready to hook someone and let Vayne do her thing, condemn him into a wall and just slam him for several chunks of percentage health. So we are waiting for this whole thing to set up. Meanwhile, super minions pushing into the base from the mid lane. This is something that red team is happy to do. They're happy to, as it were, stall this game out because blue team is going to have to shift their priorities eventually, and it's going to need to be in a second here. Lux actually blows the ult as Garen gets pulled into the wall, takes the 3 strikes, takes about 20% of his health. Blue team, that outer turret getting taken very low as well, and blue team going to have to back off and give the turret away unless they want those inhibitor and Nexus turrets to go down. The Nexus turret losing about 10 to 15% of its health. The inhibitor will be spawning soon, just 1 or 2 more waves of super minions left to go as blue team finishes that off. Red team just kind of doing a little bit of dance back and forth, getting a little bit of sight into the group. Leona is pulled into the wall, but Xin Zhao was not able to get in just in time, whereas Volibear is going to take a lot of pain from Vayne as things go on. I have a feeling something real big is going to happen in just a second here.
Yeah, they're just going around. They're going to take this inhibitor, probably will be for free unless they want to engage.
They're going to jump back on. Here's the initiate we were looking for as the solar flare goes down. But but it's, you know, just enough to lock Red Team into place. Vayne got a lot of lifesteal now. They're not able to jump on to her. Volibear tried to get to her, but was burned down before it happened. The unstoppable force in the box just a little bit too much. Vayne gets a, no, Orianna with the double kill instead of Vayne. I thought it was Vayne with the double kill onto Garen, but Orianna was able to get a command attack and a shockwave this time. And yeah, Malphite kept Misfortune and everybody else backed away from that fight while Vayne tried to pull things down. Vayne's actually going to get dumped onto, and Xin Zhao going to try to come in to help Vayne out, and Vayne actually will not go down, despite the great Zenith Blade and Shield of Daybreak from Leona. Just not quite enough damage. Misfortune going to get pulled off the turret. Vayne almost dived into it, but GG's come out all around as the Nexus explodes. A great game and a convincing victory for the red team.
Yeah, the Baron wasn't enough to win them the game. So, in your opinion, who was the deciding, who and what was the deciding factor for that game to turn this way?
Well, let me go ahead and move us back to our desktop view there. There we go. You know, and I can't give this to any one player. I have to give it to the combination of Malphite and Orianna. That's absolutely what it was. Those two working in pretty much excellent synergy. Malphite getting a lot of help from Xin Zhao early to jump ahead in the lane and be able to farm well. You know, really did a good job shutting down Garen, keeping Garen from getting too strong throughout the game, making it so that Vayne and other players could kite him. And then that Malphite Orianna ult combo, just too damn much. You know, especially as Orianna got a kill or two early, especially as Malphite got a kill or two early. They both got quite strong. That ultimate combination did so much damage and just really gave good opportunities to Thresh and Xin Zhao to be able to dive in, to tank, to separate up the team, which is something that they did quite well. How about on the blue team? Who'd you like from the blue team?
In my opinion, I have to give it to Garen pressuring Malphite early, even though that he couldn't outscale him, because come on, he's Malphite and you're Garen, so you won't be able to outscale Malphite.
I mean, frankly, I liked the play of both Misfortune, who was positioning herself very well in those fights as they broke out. Really seemed to know what he was doing as far as where to be and how to play. And then Volibear setting up a lot of good ganks and some good success for the blue team early in the game. So, you know, really a lot of good plays coming out from people. A lot of, you know, as you saw, the chases and things coming down so close, but red team with just as their wombo combo got a little bit stronger than blue team's wombo combos, that swung the fight, and then a couple of fights over objectives that went in favor of the red team, or what really pushed this one to the point that we reached. You know, red team victory 29, 15, and 60 in 35 minutes.
Yeah, so I think we are going to be heading down to the second NA game.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be starting in just a second. The game is already being set up, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream for a short moment to be able to rearrange things and get this stream saved for posteriority purposes, and we will be back with you folks in just a moment.